Hi OH Anderson families, my name is Patrick Crothers and I'm the District's Technology Coordinator. At OH Anderson Elementary School, your child is going to use a Chromebook as a learning tool both at home and at school. Today I'm going to talk about expectations when using our Chromebooks. And Ms. Erlenborn, OH Anderson's media specialist, is going to share information about the Google Classroom learning platform. We know you may have questions, need support, and maybe something isn't working right. At the end of the video, I'll also show you some resources we have for support at Matamidi Public Schools. Okay, let's get started. Our students use a variety of technology tools for learning at OH Anderson, and our teachers spend a lot of time working with them to set expectations, and they even practice taking care of the devices. I want to share a few of the expectations we have at the school that are also appropriate when your child has their Chromebook at home. We know that having a Chromebook at home is a new experience for you and for your child, so please be sure to talk with them about what your family's expectations are. The first set of expectations can be used at school and at home. The first one is when the Chromebook's not being used, it's always best to close the Chromebook screen. This puts the Chromebook to sleep, but more importantly, when that screen's closed, there's less of a chance that there's going to be accidental damage. When your child's moving their Chromebook from one spot in your home to another, make sure the screen is closed for that as well. One thing you can talk to your child about is think of it as they're carrying their lunch tray, so they use two hands and hold it that way. Finally, Chromebooks don't like crumbs and they don't like liquids. So keep food and drink away from the Chromebook while the kids are learning. If you do have water, just like at school, have a water bottle with a cover. That's always best. As a family, again, it's important for you to discuss what your expectations are for the Chromebook when it's at home. These are a couple of things that you might want to discuss. First of all, in which rooms in your home do you want the Chromebook to be used in? Are you comfortable with being in bedrooms? Do you expect that doors are going to be open? Should it be used in the basement or not? Second, what space in your home is best for your child to concentrate on their work? Is there a spot with an outlet that's nearby? A certain spot in the home where the internet connection is a little bit better? And it's always best for the students to be working at a table or a desk so they can sit up, just like we used to teach them in the computer labs or when they're in their desks working on the Chromebooks. Sitting on a couch, hunched over, sitting on a bed isn't really the best learning environment for most kids. Finally, taking the Chromebook to and from school. Some of you who are hybrid learners are going to be taking the Chromebook back and forth. We'll put the Chromebooks in the backpack before they leave school, and we don't want them to be taken out of the backpack until they get home, and vice versa. When your child leaves home, let's make sure that the Chromebook is tucked away in the backpack and that they're not going to take it out on the bus or on the car ride over until they're in the classroom. That's when they should take it out. It wouldn't even hurt to practice packing the Chromebook in their backpack. All the backpacks are a little bit different. The one that your child has may have a particular pocket that would be a good spot for it. We want to try and make sure that there's nothing that's going to be in the backpack that's going to be pressing against the screen that could damage it. And then we're getting to that time of the year where it's getting a little bit colder out. So we want to make sure that the Chromebooks don't stay out in the cold or in the heat too long. Even if your vehicle is in the garage, we really want to make sure that the Chromebooks are coming into the home each night and they're not staying out there. These are just a couple of tips to take care of the Chromebook. Make sure you talk to your child also about some of the expectations that their teacher has talked about in class, and have a conversation again about what your expectations are at home.
Hello, Zephyr parents. This is Mrs. Erlenborn, and I'm the media specialist here at OH Anderson. This video is for you, the parents, so that you can understand how Google Classroom works and how we're using it here at OH Anderson. You might be wondering, well, how does my student get to Google Classroom? If you're using a Chromebook, when the students first sign in, there'll be two tabs in the upper left-hand corner, and the second one will say Dashboard. When they click on the dashboard, Google Classroom will be one of the options. If they're using a computer at your house, you'll want to have them go to our school website. You could maybe bookmark that for your student, and then they can choose Academics Media and Google Classroom will be one of the options. I wanted to share with you some of the goals that we have for our students. We want them to become independent navigators or users of Google Classroom. We want them to know where to go to look for specific assignment feedback from their teachers, and also where to go in order to see how they're doing in a class. We want our learners to be active, respectful online learners, and we want them to take ownership and be responsible for completing their schoolwork. Hopefully they'll do their schoolwork on time, but it may be possible that a student might miss part of a day due to a dentist appointment or something. We want students to later on come back and see what they missed, because the information that was shared with their class was important and we want them to have that information. When students come into Google Classroom, parents and guardians can ask to see their work, and there are 3 different places where students can go. So I'm going to show you this live right now, where the daily list is, where the view all is, and where the classwork is. When your student comes into Google Classroom, this is what they see. If there's information that they should be working on, if there's an assignment that they need to do, it may show up here in this little daily list. But you can also click on the class name to go in and actually see what's happening in the class. So the 2 main ways to see things are under View All and Classwork. So let's go to View All. Here I can see different assignments that have been given to this class. I can also see if something is missing or if it's not turned in. Now the specialists are, after 1 week, if an assignment is missing, we're coming back in and putting in a 0. So the student knows that it's a long time since that assignment was due. And we still want you to do this assignment. We want you to click on the link and learn the information and resubmit that work to us. So be sure to click on the links for the assignments if you have anything that's missing or you don't have any points. When I click on the class title up here, it will take me back to the main menu for this class. And we were just in View All, and now we're going to go into Classwork. Google Classroom has this setup, this section set up so that teachers can have different categories. So for example, in media, the assignments are in this category, and there are other categories or places where students might see important material that they should look for. So this is the classwork area. I'm going to pop back over to our presentation. So we know now that we can see the daily list at the home screen. View All is where you can see the points, and Classwork is where you can see assignments and other important material. When students are submitting work, there are 3 buttons that might appear, and sometimes those buttons can be a little bit confusing. So let me bring up an assignment. You can see that this one is missing, and I can go into the assignment. There's a button over here that might say Mark as done. Sometimes this button says Turn in, and sometimes it says Resubmit. Those 3 different labels all mean the same thing. They all mean that when you push the button, it's going to send your work to your teacher. You can also private message a teacher from inside of an assignment, and that happens here in the private comments, and then you hit the paper airplane. Sometimes students think they need to do the paper airplane and the button, but they are not connected. You can just press the button to submit your work, and you can just press the paper airplane to send a message. They are 2 separate things. If you send your teacher a message, you can see the message indicator over here in the View All. So if I go back to my class, click on my class title, and go into View All, this is the message indicator here. So if I was expecting a message from my teacher, I could click on this assignment, it would open up, and then I could read the details. You can also click on View Details, and sometimes you'll see even more information over here if the conversation was getting long. So you can ask for help, students can ask for help, and parents can ask for help. Students can message me in the assignment called Message Mrs. E, or they can message me for many different assignments, but the message one is where it's easy for them to find. Students can also join a specialist Google Meet, and that happens here at the main screen. You'll see a class video meeting, and this is a place where students can come and ask questions. So whatever your grade level is, there'll be different times and days of the week when people can come in and ask questions. So that will be in the stream. So those are two ways students can ask questions, and parents can also email me, and parents can put in a student help desk ticket. And that's a bit.ly address at MAHT Student Help Desk. There are also several other additional videos that have more details. If you want to know more about Google Classroom, they'll be posted right near where this link is. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.
An important part of the process of having a device at home is starting to learn how you can troubleshoot some of the issues that may pop up from time to time. One of the things that we recommend people do, and this is really with any electronics device, if it's not working the way you would expect it at that moment, is to do a full shutdown, let it sit for a moment, and then power it back up and see if that fixes the issue. When you do that, a lot of the settings within the device are reset, and some of the small things, a sound issue, things like that, just doing a simple shutdown and restart may fix that problem. What happens with the Chromebooks is that students will work on the Chromebook for a while, they'll close the lid and put it to sleep, open it back up, continue to work on it, close the lid. And they may do that over and over again, but they never actually shut down the device. So we do recommend that you do a full shutdown at least once a day. To do that on the Chromebook, and I have a picture here to show you, you'll click down in the bottom right-hand corner where the clock is, and up at the top of the menu that appears is the power button. Click that button, give the device a moment, wait for it to do a full shutdown for the screen to go off and go black, then you can close the lid. If you're done for the night, you can set it aside. If you're trying to troubleshoot an issue, open it back up, power the device back on, and that may have fixed the issue. Now, if that doesn't fix the issue, the next step is you can go to the O.H. Anderson website, and under the quick links, you'll find a link to device support. If you click device support, this is where you can go to see the device guides. This is where we'll be adding tips and tricks throughout the year. We'll have some frequently asked questions we'll be adding to this page. And it's also where you can go to the technology issues page. On this page, we have a description of how you can get support, whether you're a hybrid learner, your student's a hybrid learner, or if they're a distance learner. And one of the things you can do is you can complete the Student Help Desk Google form. When you complete this form, it asks you for some basic information just about who the student is, where they go to school, what type of issue it is. And then down at the bottom is where we ask for a detailed description of the issue or your question. The more details you can give us about what's happening or not happening, as well as those things you may have already done to try and troubleshoot, are really helpful before we call you or email you to give you some additional support. When you submit this, it goes to the district technology department, and one of our tech support people will be in contact with you. It's a great way to just get some help and get a question answered if you need it. So please visit this page throughout the year. This is where we'll also be putting some of the tips and tricks that we talk about in these videos. Thank you.